Hi everyone, Hannah's here. Welcome you to my new series of 5 days to master IELTS speaking part 1. And today's is day 4. In this lesson, we're gonna learn some tips and formulas to answer one of the most questions in IELTS speaking part 1, and that is, how often do you do X, or do you often do X? And obviously, two questions are quite similar, which asks you the frequency you do the action that the examiner want to ask. First of all, we should know some adverbs of frequency. And here is the table of adverbs of frequency. Always. I always read the Sunday papers. I really love Sunday papers, so I read it all the time. Okay. Often. I often listen to music. Frequently. I frequently go to bars with friends. Usually. I usually play football on Sunday. So often, frequently, usually kind of the same. Sometimes I go to nightclubs. Or occasionally, Lee reads a newspaper occasionally. So sometimes and occasionally are quite similar. Don't always. I don't always go to the university canteen to eat. Doesn't usually. She doesn't usually have guests to dinner. Seldom or rarely. Jonathan rarely goes to fast food restaurants. Don't all the time. I don't go to expensive restaurants with friends all the time, just occasionally. Or never. I never read the Sunday papers. Now you see, the level of the frequency decrease depending on whether you love the action or not. Besides, you should learn some advanced adverbs of frequency if you want to get higher score in your IELTS speaking test. For example, instead of saying sometimes, you should say every once in a while or every now and then. For example, I play football on Sunday mornings every once in a while, which means I sometimes play football on Sunday mornings. From time to time, instead of saying occasionally. I have friends over from time to time. Once in a blue moon means rarely. I drink alcohol once in a blue moon. Hardly ever means almost never. I hardly ever play video games. Now, let's see two ways to answer this question. First, you can give a strong answer. So, first step, you could answer this question directly by giving the frequency or how frequently you do the action by saying, personally, I do it every single day, or I do it quite often. I do it all the time. I do it often enough, not too often. Only at weekends. Every now and then, from time to time, or once in a blue moon. Step 2, by making, if you want to make a longer answer, you could give some information about when you do it or where you do it. So I do it when, I do it where. And finally, give some reasons why you do it with that frequency, okay? Simply because. Now let's practice that formula by answering this question. How often do you wear jeans? And here are some suggested ideas. Maybe you could say, I wear jeans every single day, or I never take them off if you really love wearing jeans. I wear jeans quite often or all the time outside work. Often enough, not too often. Only at weekends, every now and then, from time to time, once in a blue moon. And then you may give some reasons for that frequency, like they are comfortable and durable. They are incredibly easy to match with other garments. They are inexpensive and versatile. They can be worn for just any occasion, big or small, casual or formal. And just remember, jeans are a plural noun, so we just say they if we don't want to mention teens again. Not it is, but they are. Okay. And here's my sample answer. How often do you wear jeans? Personally, I wear jeans almost all the time outside work. You know, my company follow a strict dress code. As I said earlier, they are incredibly easy to match with other garments and can be worn for just any occasion, big or small, casual or formal. Also, they are comfortable and durable. That's why jeans play an indispensable part in my life. Now, let's jump into the second way to answer this question. You can give a balanced answer. So a balanced answer means you could say it depends on the situation. Okay, it depends on the situations, or it depends on my mood. It depends on whether I'm free or not. It depends on how tired I am or what mood I have. Or it just depends. And then you divide into different cases by using if, I will, when, I, in case, I, and then give some reasons. Simply because as I find it adjective too. Let's practice. Do you often visit your relatives? So you can either answer this question by giving a strong answer or a balanced answer. If you want to give a strong answer, you could say quite often, often enough, at least once a month, only on their birthdays, very seldom, almost never. Or the second way is you should say it depends. It depends on our relations. It depends on how busy I am. And then give some reasons or some activities when you pay a visit to them. Okay. And here's my sample answer. Do you often visit your relatives? Well, it depends on whether they are my close relatives or distant relatives. If they are my close relatives, I visit them quite often. For example, I tend to pay a visit to my parents at least once a month, which is not as often as they expect me to, since I'm quite tied up with work. And I only see my brother once a year in Tet holiday as he studies abroad. When it comes to my distant relatives, I have to say I see them a few times a year when I happen to see them on the street or visit my grandparents' house. On those occasions, we just make small talks to catch up with what has been going on with us. So, some note about vocabulary, like be tied up with work means busy working. Okay. And some adverbs of frequency you can see in my sample answer, like at least once a month or once a year with my brother, a few times a year with my distant relatives like my uncles and somebody like that. Okay, make small talks, like have some chit chat, catch up with what has been going on. Mean you want to know what happens with them during the time we are apart. Now let's practice more questions that are being asked in this time of year in speaking part 1, of course. How often do you have a haircut? How often do you listen to music? How often do you listen to music when you were a child? Now, first question, how often do you have a haircut? So it quite depends on the genders, man and women. Men tend to have a haircut at least once a month, I guess, while girls or women tend to have a haircut. Rarely have a haircut, maybe once a year or twice a year. So for this question, you can either give a strong answer or a balanced answer. And some of the reasons, like make a good impression, or make me look well-groomed and elegant, enhance my look, or boost my confidence. Okay, if you rarely or if you occasionally have a haircut, like every couple of months or not that often or quite seldom, some reason for this is that you want to let your hair long, or feel embarrassed when you are in a hair salon, or you don't like to change your hairstyle. Now you should create your own answer and then compare it to mine. Here's are my sample answers. First, oh, I usually have a haircut at least once a month, as it makes me look well-groomed and elegant. Also, I think it's very important part of taking care of yourself, and it just makes me feel better and a little more confident, especially when I get loads of compliments. And if you're girls or women, well, it depends on whether I have any special occasions or not. Normally, I rarely have my hair cut, as I like my hair long and only get the ends trimmed regularly to keep my strands healthy and radiant. However, if there's a special occasion coming up, I'll prefer to change my look by having a fresh haircut. So you see, the first answer may be for men who tend to have a haircut at least once a month. And the second answer may be for girls who don't have a haircut often. Now let's move on to the second question. How often do you listen to music? So you can answer this question by giving either a strong answer or a balanced answer. And some frequency you can say like all the time, when I'm working, when I'm spending time on the internet, when I'm walking, driving on a bus, while cleaning my house, while cooking, when I have free time, almost always, my entire day, or it depends. Why? Music makes me focus on my work, or music makes me relieved and pumped up. And here's my answer. Well, it depends. I listen to music mostly when I'm not doing anything related to brain work or when I have free time. For example, when I'm on my commute or doing housework or taking a shower, listening to music can refresh my mind and let off steam. Having said that, sometimes listening to music while I'm working helps me forget all my pressures, thereby focusing on my work better. In case I have a day off, I dare say that I'll listen to music all day. And the last question, how often do you listen to music when you are a child? So you see, it's a more difficult question. So when you were a child, you should answer this question by using past tense. And here are some suggested ideas. Almost always, whenever my parents were busy, all the time when I was at home, before I went to sleep. And some reasons why you listen to music when you were a child, like children's songs or nursery songs were a part of my childhood, or music helped me express my emotions. And here's my sample answer. I dare say that music was an important part of my childhood because I listened to it quite a lot. Children's songs and nursery rhymes helped me express my emotions and thoughts. Also, they brought me a lot of pleasure. Up to now, whenever I hear a song that I heard in old days, good memories come back vividly like it was yesterday, which lifts my mood and reduces all my worries. And you see, quite a lot is an average of frequency. So if you want to answer the question how often or do you often do something, you must give an average of frequency so that you can get a point. Okay? And that's it for today's lesson. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. And if you're new here, you should subscribe my channel because I will post new lessons every single week. Thanks for watching. Until next time, take care.